Have you ever pondered over the time it actually takes to think a thought? This question may seem straightforward, but it uncovers a world of complexities within our human brain, an organ so intricate it's considered the most complex structure in the known universe. Imagine, if you will, the speed at which we think, a process so swift and seamless that it often goes unnoticed. It's a marvel of nature, really. The brain's ability to process information, to generate thoughts, is not just fast, it's lightning fast. And yet, the precise speed of thought remains a topic of ongoing research, a puzzle awaiting resolution. The human brain, with its billions of neurons and trillions of connections, is a masterpiece of network complexity. It's this complexity that allows us to perceive, think, and initiate actions in a blink of an eye, all while we navigate through our daily lives. Intrigued? So are we. Let's delve into the fascinating world of neuroscience to answer this question. Thoughts, they pop into our minds in an instant, or do they? As we delve deeper into the realm of the mind, we find that the speed of thought is a beautifully complex and highly individualized process. It's a dance of mental activities, from the first spark of sensory perception to the final step of action initiation. But how do we measure the tempo of this dance? How fast is a thought? Well, it's not as simple as timing a foot race. Thoughts don't have a start and finish line in the conventional sense. Instead, they ebb and flow through the intricate networks of our neurons, making it rather challenging to quantify their speed. Yet for the sake of understanding, scientists often use a fascinating proxy: the reaction time. Now imagine this. You're reading a book and suddenly a fly lands on your nose. The time it takes for your brain to register the fly, decide to swat it, and finally initiate the hand movement to do so, that's your reaction time. It's a measure of how efficiently your thought processes can translate perception into action. But remember, this is just a proxy, a simplified way to approach a complex process. It's not an absolute measure of the speed of thought. Our thoughts are not just reactions to external stimuli. They are imaginative, creative, and often not tied to immediate action. And that's where the true beauty of thought lies. It's not just about speed, but also about depth, richness, and complexity. It's about how our neural networks, with their unique characteristics and complexities, collaborate to create our unique human experience. So the speed of thought isn't as straightforward as it might seem. It's a fascinating dance of perception and action, a journey through the intricate landscape of the mind, a journey that we're only just beginning to understand. But what influences how quickly we think? This question might be running through your minds, and rightly so, because the speed of thought is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's a complex process impacted by a myriad of factors. Firstly, let's delve into neural characteristics. Our brains are a bustling hub of neurons, each with its unique attributes. The speed of neural transmission, the density of synaptic connections, and the myelination of neurons, the process by which a fatty layer, called myelin, builds up around the nerve cells to facilitate faster electrical impulses, all contribute to the pace at which we think. So in a nutshell, the more streamlined and well-connected our neural network is, the quicker our thought processes are likely to be. Next, let's discuss network complexity. Now, this might sound a tad scientific, but it's quite straightforward. Our brain is composed of intricate networks of neurons, all interconnected and communicating with each other. Higher network complexity means more connections between neurons and thus a greater capacity for parallel processing. In essence, the more complex our neural network, the more efficient our thought processes, contributing to faster thinking. Lastly, we cannot overlook the role of external stimuli. The world around us is a constant source of sensory information, and our brain is perpetually processing these inputs. Depending on the nature and intensity of these stimuli, our thought speed can fluctuate. For instance, in a high-stress situation, our brain goes into overdrive, accelerating thought processes to formulate quick responses. In conclusion, the speed at which we think is a delicate interplay of neural characteristics, network complexity, and external stimuli. These factors play a crucial role in determining how fast we can think. Ever noticed a lag between when you decide to move and when you actually do? You're not alone. The human brain is a marvel of engineering, capable of processing vast amounts of information in a split second. But when it comes to initiating movement, there's a curious discrepancy that scientists have been eager to unravel. Research has shown a fascinating dissociation between the perceived initiation of movement and its actual onset. This means there's a delay between when we decide to move and when our bodies respond to that command. Think of it as a kind of mental loading screen, a brief pause before the action begins. This time lag isn't due to any fault in our wiring. Rather, it's a result of the complexities involved in coordinating thought and action. When we decide to move, our brain sends a signal to the relevant muscles. But before the muscles can react, they need to receive the signal, process it, and then initiate the movement. All this happens in fractions of a second, but it's still a process that takes time. Interestingly, this delay doesn't affect our perception of time. Our brains cleverly compensate for it, making us believe that our actions are immediate. It's a bit like watching a movie in the cinema. The action on screen seems fluid and continuous, but it's actually a series of still frames played at high speed. Our brains, in essence, are the ultimate movie projectors, creating a seamless flow of action from a series of distinct steps. This intricate process of coordinating thought and action underscores the amazing efficiency of our mental processes. It also gives us a deeper appreciation for the complexity of the human brain, a marvel that we're still striving to fully understand. So next time you decide to get up and grab a snack, take a moment to appreciate the complex chain of events that makes that simple action possible. This highlights the intricate nature of thought and action coordination. So, how does understanding the time it takes to plan and execute actions help us? Well, the efficiency of our mental processes is like an intricate dance, where every step and twirl is meticulously coordinated. It's not just about how fast we can react, but how well our brain can juggle multiple tasks at once, from sensory perception to action initiation. Imagine this: you're driving home after a long day. You have to keep track of the road, the traffic lights, the cars around you, and perhaps even the GPS. All these tasks are happening simultaneously, and your brain is effortlessly coordinating them. This is the beauty of our mental processes. Now, let's consider someone suffering from a cognitive disorder. Their brain may struggle with this coordination, making what seems like a simple drive home a daunting task. By understanding the time it takes for us to plan and execute actions, we can gain valuable insights into these disorders. We can identify where the coordination falters and thus develop targeted interventions to help these individuals regain their independence. Moreover, this understanding can also illuminate how our brains are wired. For instance, why do some people have quicker reaction times than others? Is it due to their neural characteristics or the complexity of their neural networks? By peeling back the layers of these questions, we can gain a deeper understanding of our mental processes and their efficiency. But that's not all. This knowledge can also shed light on the fascinating world of our perception of movement. Have you ever wondered why we feel like we've initiated an action before we've actually done it? Well, this is yet another area where understanding the efficiency of our mental processes can provide answers.